Welcome to the deep dive. Every single day, you're making choices, constantly.
Absolutely. From the moment you wake up, really.
Yeah, like what to have for breakfast, right?
Yeah.
All the way up to these huge, life-altering things.
hmm
Career moves, relationship.
Big stuff. And it's easy to overlook how even the tiny choices, they sort of stack up, don't they?
They really do. They're like the building blocks of the life you end up living,
Yeah.
often without you even consciously realizing it as it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest, making decisions, it doesn't always feel empowering, does it? For a lot of us, it's actually kind of stressful.
Oh, definitely. Indecision is a real thing. Feeling overwhelmed by options.
Or that awful feeling of second-guessing yourself after you've chosen something. Like, did I do the right thing?
Right. Or the fear of just making the wrong choice altogether. Or, falling back into those old habits aren't helping you.
Exactly. It's a common struggle. But it doesn't have to be that way.
No, it really doesn't.
So today, that's what we're diving into. The whole art and science behind making better decisions. We want to sort of unpack what's really going on under the hood.
Look at the hidden forces, yeah. And
Okay.
offer some practical ways forward.
Yeah, give you some actual strategies, some frameworks maybe to get more clarity, feel more confident. The goal here isn't just avoiding bad choices. It's about turning decision-making into like a positive skill, something that helps you build the life you actually want.
Mm-hmm. A tool, not a burden.
Right. So first off, why do these choices carry so much weight? You mentioned the compounding effect.
Yeah, it's huge. Think about it. Those small daily habits, the little yeses and nos, they create momentum over time. They set the trajectory.
So it's not just the dramatic crossroads moments.
No, not at all. And understanding how your brain handles decisions is key here. It's pretty fascinating, actually. We basically have these two core systems running.
Two systems, okay.
Yeah. First, there's what you might call the analytical system. This is your rational mind. It's slow, deliberate, logical.
The one you use for like spreadsheets and big life plans.
Exactly. Choosing a career, buying a house, planning a complex project. It weighs pros and cons, thinks long term. It takes effort.
Okay, makes sense. What's the other one?
That's the emotional system. This one's fast, really fast. It's your gut reaction, your intuition.
Like slamming on the brakes if a car pulls out.
Precisely. Or that instant feeling you get about someone you just met. It's quick, instinctive, often operates below conscious awareness, great for emergencies or familiar situations.
So logic versus emotion. Is one better?
That's the thing. It's not about one being better. Good decision-making is usually a mix of both. It's a balance.
Like knowing when to listen to your gut and when to slow down and think it through.
Exactly. The real challenge is recognizing which system or which blend is appropriate for the decision at hand. You wouldn't use deep analysis to dodge a falling object, right?
Right. And you probably shouldn't make major financial decisions based only on a gut feeling.
Precisely. It's about matching the tool to the task. And this also helps explain things like habits and intuition.
Okay, how do they fit in?
Well, habits are essentially automated decisions. Your brain creates these shortcuts like your morning coffee routine to save energy, which is great.
Reduces decision fatigue, I guess.
Totally. But those habits can also become traps if the underlying decision isn't serving you anymore. You just keep doing it automatically.
Okay. And intuition, is that just the emotional system again?
It's closely related, but think of intuition as more like rapid judgment based on stored experience. Your brain sees a pattern, makes a quick connection based on everything you've learned before, even if you can't articulate why.
So it's not magic, it's experience processed quickly.
Pretty much.
Right.
But it needs calibration. You need to learn when that gut feeling is genuinely insightful versus when it might be, just a bias or fear popping up. Cross-referencing it with some rational thought is often wise.
That makes a lot of sense. So, okay, if we have these systems, even if they need calibration, why do we still mess up?
Yeah.
Why do smart people make, dumb choices sometimes? It feels like there must be more going on.
Oh, there definitely is. Our brains, for all their power, have these little glitches, these built-in shortcuts that can lead us astray. We call them cognitive biases.
Right, I've heard of those. Like hidden mental traps.
Exactly. There are systematic patterns of deviation from norm or rationality and judgment, and they're often unconscious. Take confirmation bias.
Okay, what's that one?
It's our tendency to actively seek out, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms our pre-existing beliefs.
Huh?
We basically filter reality to fit what we already think.
So you ignore evidence that contradicts your view.
Worse than ignore. You might actively discredit it or just not even see it because your brain is so focused on finding validation. It creates this echo chamber in your head, makes it really hard to change your mind, even with good reason.
Wow. Okay, that's subtle. What else?
Another big one is loss aversion. Psychologically, the pain of losing something feels much stronger than the pleasure of gaining something equivalent.
So losing $20 feels worse than finding $20 feels good.
Exactly. And this makes us overly cautious sometimes. We might avoid potentially beneficial risks just because we're scared of the potential loss.
Or stick with something bad just because we've already invested so much, like a failing project.
Precisely. That's the sunk cost fallacy, often driven by loss aversion. You don't want to lose the time or money already spent. And then there's anchoring.
Anchoring, like a boat.
Sort of. It's where you rely too heavily on the first piece of information you receive. Like the first price you see for a car suddenly anchors your perception of its value, even if that price is way off.
Ah, so it skews how you see everything else that comes after.
Right. These biases are sneaky because they feel like rational thought, but they're actually distorting your judgment. Just knowing they exist is a huge first step.
Okay, those mental shortcuts are definitely tricky. But what about, the more emotional stuff? The feelings that just seem to derail everything.
Yeah, that's huge too. Fear is a massive one. Fear of failure, fear of what others might think, fear of making the wrong choice.
Yeah.
It can be paralyzing.
Leading to that endless overthinking loop.
Exactly. You just spin and spin, weighing options, gathering more data, but never actually deciding. Which brings us to analysis paralysis.
Where you have too much information, too many options, and you just freeze.
You got it. You become immobilized by the sheer volume of it all. And the critical thing to remember here is that not deciding is a decision.
Right. Inaction has consequences too.
Often very serious ones.
So what is the real cost when we let that indecision, that paralysis, take over? It's not just frustrating, is it?
No, the costs are very real. First, lost opportunities. Life doesn't usually wait. That job opening, that investment, that chance to connect. Hesitation can mean missing out completely.
Yeah, opportunities can be fleeting.
Then there's the wasted time and energy. Think about how much mental bandwidth you burn just agonizing over a choice without moving forward. It's exhausting.
It really is. Drains you for other things.
Totally. And finally, there's the emotional toll, stress and regret. The longer you put off a decision, the more stressful it often becomes. And looking back with regret, thinking, what if I had just acted? That's a heavy burden.
Oof. Yeah. So just realizing those costs can actually push you to be more decisive.
It can be a powerful motivator, yes, seeing inaction as a choice with its own negative consequences.
Okay, so we know the pitfalls, the biases, the fear, the paralysis.
Right.
How do we actually fight back? What are the tools, the frameworks we can use to get clearer? It can't just be try harder.
Definitely not. It's about having a better process. And sometimes the simplest tools are surprisingly effective. Take the basic pros and cons list.
The classic. Does it really work?
It can, but here's a way to make it more powerful. Don't just list items, weight them. Assign a score, say 1 to 5, for how important each pro and con actually is to you. Ah, okay, so not all points are equal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe even add a gut feeling score next to your rational score for each point.
No.
It forces you to consider both logic and intuition and often reveals what truly matters most.
Interesting. Okay, what about for really complicated choices? Lots of options, lots of factors.
That's where something like a decision matrix can be super helpful. You list your options along one axis and your key criteria, cost, time, impact, alignment with values, whatever matters along the other.
And then you score each option against each criterion.
Right. Score each one. You could even weight the criteria if some are more critical than others. Then you tally it up. It gives you a more objective comparison.
It sounds like it takes the emotion out, or at least balances it.
It provides a structured way to think it through. It doesn't replace intuition, but it gives it a solid foundation. And there are other great tools too, like the Eisenhower matrix, sorting tasks by urgent versus important, or the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule.
Focusing on the vital few actions that get most of the results. Exactly. Just knowing these frameworks exist gives you more ways to approach different kinds of decisions.
Beyond specific tools, you also mentioned mental models. What are those?
Think of them as frameworks for thinking, ways to look at a problem from a different angle, like inversion.
Inversion, thinking backwards.
Kind of, instead of asking, how do I succeed, you ask, what would guarantee failure? Then you systematically avoid doing those things. It often highlights risks you'd otherwise miss.
That's clever.
What else?
First principles thinking. This is about breaking a problem down to its absolute fundamental truths. Ignore assumptions, ignore how things have always been done, and build your decision up from the bedrock facts. It's how major innovation often happens.
Like questioning everything you think you know.
Pretty much. And always consider opportunity cost. When you choose one path, what are you giving up by not choosing the alternatives? That cost of the missed opportunity is a real factor in any decision.
Right. What you don't do matters just as much. These models really force a different perspective.
They do. They help you get outside your default thinking patterns.
So how do we actually start using all this? Not just for the massive life-changing decisions, but for the everyday stuff too. Because you said those small choices compound.
Absolutely. That's where the real change often begins. It's about integrating these ideas into your daily rhythm. Think about your morning routine.
How does that connect to decision-making?
Well, a good routine reduces decision fatigue first thing. If you've already decided what you're wearing, what you'll eat, what your first task is, you conserve mental energy.
You automate the small stuff to save brain power for the bigger stuff later.
Exactly. Plan it the night before. Maybe pick one important task to tackle first, that eat the frog idea that builds momentum. These aren't just routines. They're proactive decisions that set a positive tone.
Okay, that makes sense. What other daily strategies help?
Learning to set boundaries and say no? Seriously. Saying yes to everything might feel helpful, but it just leads to overwhelm and scattering your energy.
Spreading yourself too thin.
Right. You need to know your priorities. Then, when requests come in, ask yourself, does this align? Learning to say no politely but firmly is a crucial decision-making skill. It protects your focus.
It's deciding what not to do, basically.
Precisely. And another big one, learning how to avoid impulse decisions. Those choices driven by sudden emotion, stress, or wanting immediate gratification.
Yeah, the ones you often regret later. How do you stop those?
Sometimes just pausing helps. Take 5 deep breaths. Create a tiny gap between the impulse and your action. For bigger things, the old advice to sleep on it is gold.
Gives your analytical brain time to catch up.
Exactly. Ask yourself, does this impulsive choice actually align with my bigger goals or values? And try to notice your triggers. What situations make you prone to impulse? Then you can manage them better.
These are great for the day-to-day grind. But what about those really big ones? The life-changing decisions around, say, career or relationships or finances. The stakes feel so much higher there.
They definitely feel higher, and their impact ripples out for years. For career choices, think beyond just the salary or title. Ask, does this work align with my core values? Does it genuinely energize me, or does it drain me? What kind of lifestyle does it support?
Looking at the whole picture, not just the job description.
Right. And in relationships, the impact is profound. Who you choose as a partner, the friendships you cultivate, they shape your happiness, your growth, your resilience more than almost anything else. Are they supportive? Healthy?
It's a huge decision, who you let into your inner circle.
Absolutely. And finances. Viewing money as a tool for security, for freedom, for enabling future choices. It's about balancing present enjoyment with future opportunities and stability. And notice how interconnected these are.
Yeah, a bad job can strain relationships and finances. Like a good relationship can support career risks.
Exactly. They all influence each other. So for these big decisions, risk assessment and long-term thinking are vital.
Not avoiding risk entirely, but understanding it.
Precisely. You can't eliminate risk, especially with big life choices. But you can assess it. What's the best case outcome? Worst case, most likely. Ask yourself honestly, could I handle the worst case scenario if it happened?
Facing the potential downside squarely.
Yes. And balance that against the potential long-term gain. Is some short-term discomfort or uncertainty worth the potential future benefit? Thinking long-term also means asking, will this matter in 5 years, in 10 years? Does this choice move me closer to the life I ultimately want?
Pulling your perspective way out.
It helps cut through the immediate fear or excitement. And finally, a crucial piece for big decisions and small ones is learning from mistakes.
Accepting that you won't always get it right.
Nobody does. Mistakes are inevitable, but they are incredibly valuable data if you let them be. The key is to reflect, not ruminate.
Don't just beat yourself up about it.
Right. Ask, what did I learn? What signals did I miss? What would I do differently next time? Look for patterns in your mistakes. They often point to blind spots. Turn those errors into fuel for future growth and better judgment. It builds resilience.
It's clear that having the right strategies and tools is crucial, but it feels like there's something deeper too, like how you actually think about making choices, the mindset you bring to it.
Absolutely. That's the inner game, and it might be the most important piece. A huge mindset shift is embracing uncertainty and imperfection.
Accepting that you can't know or control everything.
Exactly. Life is uncertain. There's no such thing as a perfect decision with a guaranteed outcome. Waiting for certainty often means waiting forever.
So you just get paralyzed.
Right. The shift is towards making the best possible decision with the information you have right now. See uncertainty not as a threat, but just as part of the landscape of growth. It's liberating, actually.
Takes the pressure off finding the mythical perfect choice.
It does. Another key shift is building confidence through small wins. Confidence isn't something you just decide to have. You build it.
Oh, by practicing.
Yes. Start with small, low-stakes decisions where you can likely succeed. Establishing that morning routine we talked about. Trying one small new habit. When you make an intentional choice and follow through, acknowledge it. Celebrate that small win.
So each success builds a little more self-trust.
Exactly. It creates momentum. You prove to yourself step by step that you can make good choices and act on them. Then you're better equipped to tackle the bigger ones.
Makes sense. Build the muscle gradually.
And the final mindset piece is truly turning setbacks into learning opportunities. We touched on this, but it's about the reframing.
Not seeing a bad outcome as a failure, but as feedback.
Yes. Like an experiment that yielded unexpected data. Analyze it clinically, without blame. What were the assumptions? What factors played out differently than expected? What's the actionable lesson here?
Extract the wisdom, basically.
Extract the wisdom, integrate it, and apply it forward. That's how you create this upward spiral of continuous improvement in your decision-making. It's a profoundly different way to relate to your choices.
That really does change everything, doesn't it? It's just decision-making from something scary or burdensome into, well, almost an adventure, a process of learning and growing.
That's a great way to put it.
Well, that brings us towards the end of this deep dive into mastering your choices. We've covered a lot from how your brain actually works when deciding to the sneaky biases and fears that trip us up.
All the way to practical tools, mental models, daily strategies.
Right. And finally, those crucial mindset shifts. It really hammers home that decision-making isn't just some innate talent. It's a skill you can learn, practice, and get much, much better at.
And mastering it truly can reshape your future. Remember that ripple effect we talked about?
Yeah.
Every choice, no matter how small it seems, contributes something. It adds to your experience, your resilience, your ability to consciously steer your life. That idea, better decisions, better life, it's not just a slogan. It's built choice by choice.
It really is. So as you go back into your day, facing all those decisions waiting for you, here's something to carry with you. Stay curious. Always be exploring, questioning, learning about yourself, about the world. Don't assume you have all the answers. Stay resilient. Know that uncertainty and setbacks will happen. Meet them with courage. Adapt. Learn from them.
Crucial.
Keep the spark alive. What are you passionate about? What drives you? Nurture that. Keep that desire to grow burning.
Yeah.
And maybe most importantly for today, dive deep. Don't just skim the surface of your choices. Reflect. Understand your motivations, your fears, your values. Make choices intentionally, because ultimately your life becomes the sum total of those choices. So here's the challenge. Think about one specific insight from our conversation today, just one thing that resonated. How can you apply that right now to a decision you're currently facing, big or small?
Make it concrete.
Exactly. Commit to making that one choice more intentionally, because your best life, it really is built choice by choice.